mega trend theme that I see in quotes here, the infrastructure for the new world?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that's been really excellent is the money that has come back to the United States and the fact that the United States on the reshoring and the onshoring, that can improve. So not just the infrastructure within the United States, but then we have to look out globally. Now, of course, we don't know what's going to happen with China and Taiwan and China and the U.S., so you have to kind of put that a little bit on the shelf. But the whole world right now with energy and infrastructure and AI data centers, it has to improve to keep up. Otherwise, it could turn out to be one of these situations where a lot of money was put forth and we wind up with more ghost towns in terms of the infrastructure. I don't want to see that happen. I don't think it will happen, but that's really kind of where my eyes are.
Well, plenty to set up the year, and we'll see where it all goes in this always unknown world we live in. Misha Schneider, appreciate it. Happy New Year, and thanks so much for taking the time this morning on this Monday. Misha, of course, the Chief Strategist for MarketGauge.com. Coming up, we're going to look at some of the key levels to watch with Rick Ducat. We'll be right back.
While others recap the news, I help you read between the lines from what's moving markets to what's next with sharp takes and market know-how. Follow me on all social media platforms at Diane King Hall and connect with me on LinkedIn for more.
Hey, Pop.
Hey, Andrew.
Last year, my dad had a stroke. Big shock to see this person that I've always seen as a force in our family be vulnerable.
Wait, that's stroke?
Yes. Now we're in the car together almost daily. I started to realize, what can I pick up from my dad? He's been with Schwab for a long time.
Jim, my financial consultant. That's where we met 20 years ago.
Jim's really been there to answer any questions I ever have. Makes a huge difference when you have someone that actually cares.
Live insights, actionable data, and market-moving analysis. Schwab Network connects the headlines to the why in real time. Watch free 24/7 at schwabnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the opening bells. We're now joined by the lead market technician for the Schwab Network, Rick Ducat. He's going to help set up the week here for the S&P 500. Rick, what are we watching here technically in the S&Ps?
Yeah, it's been an interesting start to this year, to say the least here. But when we look at our bigger picture overview of our four major indices, we can see the S&P's up about 15.5% or so. NASDAQ is still the leader of the group here, up about 18%. But we can, advance to our first chart in our grid there. We would see our comparison. So next we would see as well, if we were to move to our second chart in our grid, that we can see a comparison of the S&P versus some of our major futures products here, Bitcoin, gold, crude oil. So if we could do that one as well next, we can see that gold is really the standout, not what you might exactly expect here. You'd think that was typically the risk-off trade here, while Bitcoin, the conventional risk-on trade, so to speak, is the severe underperformer. But if we were to look at our S&P 500 chart here, our yearly candle chart, we can see that the trend has been moving toward the upside here, but we have a consistent resistance ceiling here, around 6,900 or so, our red line there. We can also see our two green lines, 6550 and 6360, are some notable downside areas to watch out for there. So if we move to our next chart, our exponential moving averages that we follow, we can see our group of moving averages are clustered together right around 6880 or so. So this represents a notable confluence point that the bulls would want to be on the lookout for before they, if we do see some kind of move below that level. We can also see our RSI, a measure of momentum here. 5660 is our reading for this one here, compressing in more triangular shape here, symmetrical triangle, suggesting that we're seeing a bit of bearish divergence here. Momentum is starting starting to slow at this point here. So not exactly what you'd want to see if you're bullish, but a more nuanced view of the RSI would be that we've already kind of had the reset. If you look at where our green trend line begins at those low points, you can see that we've made higher lows, but we're also making a new relative high beyond our previous high. So by that measure, in the shorter term, it may be a little bit more bullish than it might seem at first for this particular name, Alex.
Good stuff, Mr. Ducat, as we're, basically within a stone's throw again of new all-time highs, picking up where we left off in 2025 here to start 2026. Rick, of course, lead market technician for the Schwab Network. As we say goodbye to Rick, we welcome in our market meetup panel, and for that we're joined by Joe Mazzola, head trading and derivative strategist for Charles Schwab, as well as Jenny Horn, of course, the co-host of Next Gen Investing here on the Schwab Network. Good morning to both of you guys. Joe, we'll start with you. I know Stacks data is fresh off the presses here today. Tie that into what we're watching in the market and what your high-level takeaways are.
Sure. Thanks, Alex, for having me on. And let me talk about Stacks a little bit this morning. I think, what we saw from the Stacks was that there was a little bit of trimming at the end of December. The volumes were low, so I wouldn't put too much stock into that, no pun intended. But what we did see, which I do think was interesting, was that clients took a little bit of the risk off the table with some of maybe the IT and consumer discretionary names, and added some risk in terms of communication services. A lot of that was led by Netflix and Google, so those were two of the bigger buys. I think a couple other things that really kind of stood out when you ask investors and traders kind of how they feel going forward, they're just as bullish as they were before. That has not changed. And I think what is, what I would add to that is that there's seems to be a little bit of divergence between kind of the investor and the trader population in that, traders are looking at these opportunities to kind of buy the dip, and they believe that this will continue into 2026. So, when I see the momentum that we saw on Friday, kind of heading back into the ships and some of that more risk-on trades, especially what you see in the metals, especially what you see in some of the cryptocurrencies, some of that's carrying forward to today. That kind of shows me that some of this risk-on sentiment it hasn't really abated. That clients are looking for opportunities to buy when things pull back, and when that's the case, they're not afraid to put funds to work.
Joe, you mentioned that while there may be some risk-off sentiment broadly within IT, are you still finding that Schwab clients, particularly those that are a little bit more active, are finding their way back into some of these, retail favorites, the NVIDIAs of the world, the Palantirs of the world? And then also, I should note, I believe that slight downtick for the Stacks in December, correct me if I'm wrong, snaps like a 6-month streak as well. So it wasn't as if sentiment was beaten down going into this.
No, and I think what is the most telling to me, Alex, from that is that when you looked at that final week, so the Stacks actually ended on December 26th. It was really that last week where we saw the selling. Basically, the first 3 weeks, kind of leading into that, it was pretty flat. So the sentiment was pretty even around the way. But it was that final week we saw the trimming, and Tesla was a stock that was sold pretty heavily. Same thing with Palantir. Now NVIDIA was number 2 on the list, which is in terms of on the buy list, which usually is number 1, number 2. That didn't really surprise me one bit, but it was a little surprising to see Netflix kind of rise to the top. So I think what happened is if you look at where clients bought versus where they sold, they bought stocks that had pulled back about 15% during that period. They were looking to buy the dip, and they were selling some of the stocks that had rallied quite a bit. Tesla being the case there, where it had set a little bit high during that Stacks period. So they're looking at this as an opportunity to kind of buy dips, so rip, and I wouldn't expect that changing anytime soon.
Good stuff. Jenny, as we bring you into the conversation here, we got CES. Mr. Leather Jacket, Jensen Wong is going to speak later on today. We also got these developments coming out of South America with Venezuela and the impacts to crude oil. How do we make sense of all this? What are you watching?
I actually think the market's lack of reaction, I know we're substantially higher, yes, but the really more muted tone to the geopolitical action we saw in Venezuela as investors do, I think, right now, gauge the gravity of the attack, of course, led by the United States. But the oil market did rise modestly. We've seen that a lot of these gains already somewhat given back in real time, as like initially we saw Chevron, for example, which has an established presence in Venezuela already, that rallied more than 7% before now coming back to earth a little bit, down or up, still up 3.5%. But historically speaking, a lot of these geopolitical shocks have little lasting impact on these markets. We actually saw a report from UBS that was really interesting that highlighted the review of the last 11 major geopolitical events. And then really the reaction of the S&P 500 on average, it was just about 0.3% lower 1 week after the event and around 7.7% higher 12 months later, again, according to this report from UBS. So I will say that this full crisis mode you're seeing from other countries, like Denmark is one that's on this full alert. Yes, from a security standpoint, I understand where they're getting at, but a very different tone that we're seeing in our U.S.-based markets today. It's been a pretty muted reaction, all things considered.
Joe, to Jenny's point, VIX one day is 8 today. And so this is where the separations of headlines, political impact, policy impact, legal impact differ from market reaction. Because to her point, there's almost none. We only got about 30 seconds or so. What's your elevator response to what happened over the weekend?
Well, yeah, I'm going to go to the VIX real quick because I think that's important. It's not just the VIX, it's the hedging component, which is not there at all right now. If you kind of look at implied volatility, you kind of look at the skew on the SPX, which is, kind of measures the put buying versus call buying. Investors, traders, and specifically what I would look at as institutional traders on the SPX, I don't know if we want to use the word complacent, but at least they're not hedging their bets right now. They're comfortable with this market run.
Yeah, very limited response, even within crude oil. There are big moves in gold and Bitcoin, but there's been big moves in gold and Bitcoin recently, so it could be coincidental. We will find out in time. Joe Mazzola, always a pleasure. Head trading and derivative strategist for Charles Schwab, and Jenny Horn, of course, the co-host of Next Gen Investing here on the Schwab Network. That's going to do it for us here on Opening Bell. We have Morning Trade Live with Sam Vadas coming up next. Hope everybody has a great week. We'll see you tomorrow.
Schwab Bank Investor Checking, the checking account built for investors. Named highest in client satisfaction by J.D. Power for 7 years in a row. With Investor Checking, you get the award-winning features of our checking account, plus cash management solutions, all designed for investors like you, with unlimited ATM fee rebates for cash withdrawals worldwide, no overdraft fees, and enhanced security features to keep your money safe. Also, because your investor checking account is linked to your Schwab One brokerage account, you can manage your checking and investing in one convenient location. Moving funds between your accounts is easy. Cash moved to your brokerage account is available in seconds. That means you can stop waiting and start investing in stocks, bonds, money market funds, and more. Get more with Schwab Bank Investor Checking, the checking account built for investors.
Welcome to Schwab Network, where real-time market coverage meets expert strategy.
From the opening bell to the closing bell, we've got you covered.
Get inside the minds of pro traders.
My point is that they're getting a higher rate of change in sales based on their guidance, but not the same rate of change on EPS.
Follow the biggest headlines, live analysis, breaking news, and sharp trade ideas minute by minute.
With shows built for action, we break it all down in real time with speed, accuracy, and precision.
I think one of the most important things is you're making a play in a risk-defined way here going into earnings.
So that would be a further downside area to watch.
Smart insights, actionable data, veteran traders, and trusted financial journalists streaming live and on demand.
Schwab Network, streaming 24/7, any screen, anywhere, free. SchwabNetwork.com.
Mom, when my grandparents moved here, did they know what our family would become?
I don't even know if they could envision it. To leave everything behind, literally come across the entire world, I think that we totally met what their wishes were. Schwab has been with us for almost 25 years through purchasing up houses, opening up our business, having children. They've always been there for us.
I want to invest with a company that can help me give my family a happy financial future.
Stay connected to what moves the markets. Download the Schwab Network app and stream anytime wherever you are. Monday, a very busy day. Welcome to Morning Trade Live. I'm Sam Vardas, live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. We've got plenty to hit on both here and abroad over the next hour. So here's a look at what is coming up on today's show. We'll take a closer look at the far-reaching market impact of the U.S. attack on Venezuela and what other geopolitical dominoes could be about to fall. And over the next hour, we'll bring you example trades for Coinbase and Tesla. Goldman Sachs upgrading Coinbase to buy this morning as Tesla has been overtaken by BYD as the global EV sales leader. Now let's take a look at where markets stand around half an hour into trading, given of course that we do have market activity picking up today in earnest at day 2 of 2026. And of course, reacting to the weekend developments out of Venezuela, it looks like markets are looking past the geopolitical uncertainty in the market right now, very much risk on perhaps on some of the investment opportunities. Particularly when you look at some of the oil majors, some of the energy companies today, the S&P 500 side 10% higher. We're at levels of 6,900 right now on the benchmark. It's also a day for tech. We're seeing 9/10% on the Nasdaq right now. Dow Jones is outperforming up over 1%, as I mentioned, on some of those companies that no doubt are reacting to the geopolitical tension and development from the weekend. We're up to Dow up 7/10%. As we stand, we have local risk on in this market as we get underway for straight today. Let's check out foreign markets. Obviously, the first to react to what we got over the weekend with regards to what happened over in Venezuela with the capturing of Nicolas Maduro. Obviously, we saw a nice rally up to Nikkei 225. It did play catch up to even the market. That's what we saw on Friday. This is day one. It's up at 3%. We'll dig into why throughout the program. Looking at 100 right now, 3% higher. The DAX also 9/10%. It is a good day for some of the aerospace and defense stocks across the region this morning.
You don't understand when you won't listen.
Across most of these regional markets today, the Hang Seng Index closing out just on the line to the upside. Let's take a look at futures for us, because if I just say, given what we're seeing as far as some of the movement in stocks, it is a fairly muted response when you take a look at the 10-year yield. We're at 418 right now. The US dollar index has strengthened over the course of the last couple of days. We're looking at 98 right now on the Dead Sea. Gold catching a bit, so we are seeing a flight to safety when it comes to some of these commodities on some of the geopolitical uncertainty in the market this morning. Up almost 3% at 44.55. Crude oil, not a huge movement, given of course what we've got from those developments. We're at $57 a barrel. Big question moving forward is what is this going to mean for the market? Obviously, we had OPEC Plus talking about sitting in their hands as far as Q1 production output there as well. Bitcoin, very big story for us today, as it's now catching a bid this morning, up over 4%. We're at levels of 94,000, so very much above that key 90,000 level that we have been watching as far as trying to break through that now. So we are sitting up comfortable, as I said, 4.2% on the cryptocurrency. That's a snapshot of what we're getting this morning as far as the reaction in the markets, given a very dramatic start to 2026. Stunning pictures out over the weekend. Stunning pictures here in New York City this morning as Maduro, of course, is being led to court in a helicopter. So let's get to Kevin Hinks, who joins me now for a breakdown of some of the other key numbers that we are watching in the markets. And Kevin, before we get to what we're seeing as far as the reaction across risk assets this morning, let's talk about ISM manufacturing PMI updates this week. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Coming out right now, ISM Manufacturing Index. Here's the numbers. ISM Manufacturing PMI for the month of December, they were expecting 48.3, comes in 47.9. Remember, anything below 50 is not expansionary, so these are not great numbers coming out of ISM. Prices paid, 58.8, big jump there, but they were looking for something around 59, so a slight miss there. ISM employment, 44.9. That was also something slightly higher though than last month's 44, and the last one, new orders, 47.7, Sam. So numbers below 50. So, leaning towards contraction, except prices paid, 58.5, a slight miss on the expectations of 59, Sam.
So a read of 47.9, still below the boom or bust line there, as you pointed out. Obviously, we'll be getting our services PMI data later in the week, which has a much sort of bigger weighting as far as the economic impact.
Yes, good morning. This is Sheldron.
What's going on?
I was just wondering if you got the information to the pantry over here. I've been trying to get that back and forth the whole time. I think they're just waiting for you to give me the information. So I had got my phone. I took somehow I got trapped in my mom's, okay? And long story short, like, well, I mean, even to the kids, okay, this girl I was with, I never knew until, when she finally just had to go with it. She just talking about she used to translate it for 4 years. And I got to thinking, I was just like, man, my baby is like that, died, and I'll walk him back to life to that. And just thinking about it, retrospect, I was like, man, my mom put me in and out of dental institutions over that crap. And then they used that crap against me in court, and I paid back all this crap. Like, you know what I mean? It's like been like a uphill battle, I realized, was over these two people. So, when I had sick, and then also they made me break late on my rent, this small car crash, threw my phone, early December. I told her, I had a loan, I'm in a loan. This girl had took out a loan. So they told me to do a push report. In the midst of that, I didn't even get my phone until 8. So that's why, like, ahead of time, I was like, I already know that my rent's going to be late. The pantry was going to help me with my rent. So that's why I said ahead of time, I already get this letter. When I was stuck in my mom's, I was just like, well, you know what? I'm going to tell my lawyer, my therapist, and, y'all have my phone the whole time. And this my phone with the therapist. They might have my rent late. So I was just like, let me just, and then y'all wanted to get my phone back and all this. I had to order a phone before I even came home and get through all the two-step verifications. So my family just wanted me to go home without a phone. Like, I didn't have no way to do anything, get money off my cars or anything. So I called the police because they told me to do a police report because that woman took a loan out of my stuff. That's fraud. So I called the police to do a police report. And like I say, next door, whoever this is, next door to me, to my right, whoever property this is, the white guy, the owner of the brown right side, you know what I'm talking about? was trying to tell my mom, help me get my phone, ask them, retrieve my phone. So while I'm doing the police report for the loan that someone took out of my stuff, in the meantime, I done asked all these neighbors if I use their phone. He was one of the guys that I asked to use their phone. So when I was talking to my mom, he ended up requesting his phone back. And then calling my mom, talking about he's gonna kick my ass, he's gonna fight me. They didn't call the police, I called the police. While I'm talking to the police, he comes out telling me, so I'm telling the cops, it's like, bro, this dude's been calling my mom, saying this and that. That I called the police. They didn't call the police. They come out talking about, oh, is this a wellness check? No, you guys need a wellness check because all you gotta do is just, yell at me, tell me you gonna beat me up and fight me. And I didn't know but ask my neighbor if I could use their phone or something. That's what happened. That's what happened. If you wanna know, that's it. Well, that's what happened. And then with the neighbors across the way, they banged on my door like right now, this time of morning, because they're talking about I stole their package. I said, bro, if you don't call Amazon and talk to them about that package, or you know what I mean? Why you banging? They don't send their sons to knock on my door, talking about a package. Who called the police? I called the police. Nobody else talked to me about no police. I ain't even had no trouble. I stay in the house. These people are bothering me. No, I did not. If you listen very closely, I'll tell you that this girl took out a loan. I'll tell you that the loan department asked me to take out a police report on this girl. And while I was doing a police report on this girl, these white people next door came out talking this and that. And I told the cops, yeah, these people are calling my mama, harassing them. How they get my mama's number is because I knocked on their door to ask to use their phone. The white people snapped on me, unneighborly like, request their phone back. And they've been calling my mom. They didn't call the police on me. I called the police for something else because I'm stuck in a loan loop from the month before. And like I said, that girl that you so independent, she's doing like 14 different drugs. Is calling us for all this system. I'm losing my kids and I'm losing my house over this crap. Not only that, like come on, I'm just trying to get the rent paid. I don't know who called the police. I mean, whoever you talking about called the police on me. No one did. I called the police. To do, they told me to do the, you know what I mean? I got sue my mom and this girl because they didn't lose my kids. Who you say called the police on me? No, I don't. I don't have nothing going on. I'm asking you a question. Who called the police on me? Who do I have a problem with?
I'm not even getting in the middle of that, Sheldron.
Right. So I'm telling you, these people are. I'm in the house. I don't even know these people. And
you've done told me you've already talked to all these people.
I didn't tell them nothing. I asked them if I could use their phone. I asked everybody if I could use their phone. Only the white person next to me snapped on me and asked for his phone back. Cool.
What does that mean?
Now I'm at the pantry using their phone. Now I don't know what they told you. But he done called I ain't been over there since, today is the next year. He done called my mama and talked to her by himself. I don't know what he called and told you next. And now you don't want to get in the middle of it, but you asking me. These people is bothering me along with, I just need you to, let me call the pantry. Yeah, I asked you, you called the No, I called the police about a loan. I called the police. Who called the police on me? Yeah, answer the question. Like what? What? What?
You understand you're yelling, right?
No, I'm asking you what. You're asking my name. I said what? I'm responding to your question. Like, what are you asking me?
We're going to stop this phone call.
All right, well, I'm going to call the pantry. I'm going to call you back.
When you have calmed down.
No, when you have calmed down, have some water. I'm going to call the pantry and call you back. I'm going to try to get my rent paid because I've been trying to do that since the break. Obviously, somebody can't get a hold of their email, so I'm going to three-way them or have them call you back. I don't know. But I'm going to just get my rent paid and go for it. I don't even know what other people is talking about. You won't let me know. You want to act like I'm illiterate, belligerent, or manic. I don't want to know what you act like I am. But I'm going to get this rent paid. Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna get this rent paid. I'll call you back. I'll call you back. I'm gonna get this rent paid though. Whatever you talking about, I'm gonna get this rent paid. Now, how you gonna get a police report and I never even talked to a police? I don't know what you're talking about. I'll call the police. About something else. Tell me about something else completely different and won't tell me what he's talking about. I gotta get this number to this pantry.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person.
Remains highly focused, and rightly so, on the AI infrastructure build-out and what impact AI is going to have on all the various sectors across the U.S. stock market.
Okay, so largely looking past the geopolitical uncertainty, no doubt focusing on AI and continuing to run with the baton that we ran with in 2025. I'm just wondering, another big sort of event this week is going to be CES. We're going to be hearing from Jensen Huang later today. We're going to be hearing from Lisa Su from AMD as well. I'm just wondering if you're paying attention to that event and what you're looking to hear from some of these very influential names in the sector.
Yeah, absolutely. The CES news this week will be big. I expect NVIDIA and others to focus on robotics, automation, self-driving vehicles, health tech. I think those will be big areas of focus.
United Christian Ministries, may I help you?
Oh yes, I'm trying to check on the status of my what is it, virtual assistants?
Okay, have you filled out the form online yet?
Oh my God, I'm checking on the status of it. Is Miss Stephanie in or
Yeah, of course. Hear about, certainly the ROI, because of all this spend, that's been very much the narrative. You do say, though, the favourable equity market set up for 2026 looks good. Is that a continuation of what we saw in 2025, or is there sort of new elements on the horizon?
Yeah, I think it is in many ways a continuation of what we saw in 2025, but I expect it to be amplified, particularly as it relates to merger and acquisition activity and also IPO activity. I think we're setting up for a potential really strong multi-year run in both mergers and acquisition activity and IPOs, including some very large ones.
Okay, the CapEx, you've been pointing out that hyperscaler CapEx grew 75% in 2025. Do you believe that if we continue to throw out numbers of that kind of magnitude, do you think things are a little bit militant, a little bit more demanding moving into the new year? As it is very much looking, as you say, the use cases versus winners and losers.
Yeah, that growth rate of 75% in 2025.
I don't know if you guys, I'm just a middleman and I've been built that application out. Like it's just up to her. It's just like she's relished me all this stuff and find a way to kick me out instead of just help
estimates or expectations for that CapEx spending are going to continue to rise higher. That's been happening almost every quarter for the last 3 years now. I think that's going to continue. So when Microsoft and Google and Amazon and Meta and CoreWeave and Oracle report their earnings here over the next month and a half, I think you're going to see those CapEx estimates get revised up, and I also think you're going to see revenue and EPS estimates revised up for most of those companies as well, as businesses and consumers implement new production use cases that they've been trialing
notice a termination, but whatever this is, she should have been just.
Okay, then outside of technology, obviously we've seen some strong demand for defense and aerospace. I was just talking about the performance in Europe and Asia overnight off the back of what we've now seen in Venezuela, obviously with respect to what's been happening over in Ukraine, Russia. We've had military drills all over Taiwan, that's nothing new. But how are you looking at
you outlined. The U.S. defense budget, of course, is increasing by a double-digit rate here in 2026. It'll keep increasing into the future. And then aerospace demand, kind of core airline aircraft activity, and then also Boeing aircraft production growing. So I think, really strong, outlook, demand outlook really across all of aerospace and defense. Our particular favorite is TransDigm, a company that both engages in aerospace aftermarket as well as serving the defense industry. They're also trying to complete mergers and acquisitions to grow their business. They have plenty of capital to do so. They just announced a pretty sizable acquisition a week and a half ago, so we like that company quite a bit. We like the demand environment, and just this weekend's news, only adds to that.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing it trading up right now, 1.22% off the back of what we've seen alongside a lot of its peers. Hey, Jeff, we're going to leave it there, but thanks so much for the update and getting us across the market to be running and being under the desk.
Yeah, like, you feel me? I'm telling you, it's a lot of crap. I call the police. My kids is you know what I mean? Used to go to that extra. I go to that 3 years going to that extra. People is messing with me early. Not getting kicked out now. So that's why I said, like, this whole conversation was being had in front of her, so she could just feel weird, look weird.
Diane
I don't know what's
on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. When markets react, we are live with analysis that matters. Watch now, only on SchwabNetwork.com.
How's it going? First day, so.
Sometimes, you could have done better. Same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab.
Whether you're a bull or a bear, you'll want to catch the latest market action on Morning Movers with me, Diane King Hall, live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, only on Schwab Network.
Trading at Schwab is powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized trading support. Connect with the Schwab Trade Desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle your trading questions, no matter how complex. Plus, get 24/7 live help and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. Trade brilliantly with Schwab.
The final 90 minutes of the trading day, that's when markets make headlines and traders make decisions. From earnings shocks to sector rotations, we're tracking the catalysts that move markets right into the close. Here on the floor, I bring you real-time sentiment from traders driving the action. And in Chicago, we break down the data, technicals, and trades you need to see before the bell rings. Live coverage of the close every single day. This is Market on Close, live weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern, only on Schwab Network. We're back on Morning Trade Live. Palo Alto Networks is modestly higher this morning after Guggenheim upgraded the stock to neutral from sell. The analyst cites the stock's recent underperformance and benefits from being the largest pure-play vendor in the security space for the upgrade. CTEC also reported that Palo Alto is in talks to buy cybersecurity startup Koi for $400 million. Right, welcome back to Morning Trade Line. It's time now for the big picture. Let's welcome in Colin Martin, the head of fixed income research and strategy, Schwab Center for Financial Research. So, not a lot of movement in the bond market this morning. I think surprisingly, given some of the commentary out of the weekend, that perhaps we would see more of a flight to safety. We are certainly seeing that across the commodity space. But just talk us through, perhaps we're seeing this kind of reaction today, Colin.
Yeah, you could argue that the bond market's being driven more by just, the economy and fundamentals as opposed to the news out of Venezuela. When we first got the headlines, the initial thought was that maybe long-term treasury yields fall for two reasons. The first would be the flight to quality trade. If there's a lot of uncertainty out there, investors tend to get out of riskier investments and go to the perceived safety that U.S. treasuries offer. But we also thought maybe they'd fall on lower inflation expectations. If we were to get a boost in oil production from Venezuela, that could bring oil prices down even more and pull down inflation. Now, to start the day, 10-year Treasury yields were down a little bit, but it didn't look like it was for flight to quality purposes because stocks were up. So maybe they were down a little bit based on just maybe inflation expectations. Then they rose a little bit, but then most importantly, they fell following that somewhat disappointing ISM release. So that's kind of our main takeaway right now, and this is our approach to all markets, not just the bond market. Is to take everything that we're seeing right now with a grain of salt, and our guidance to our clients at Schwab is to not make an impulsive investment decision based on these headlines. It's very fluid. It's going to take time for these things to play out, and kind of stick with your plan. And that's what we're seeing with the bond market right now. It looks like just the path of the U.S. economy is the driver right now, as opposed to maybe geopolitical risks from Venezuela.
Okay, so steady as she goes this morning. Obviously, we've got some economic updates this week. A big week in data, in fact. We've got ISM manufacturing earlier today, still below that line that separates expansion from contraction, but not moving the needle too much because, of course, everybody looks at the services PMI as far as the more sort of heavy weighting there. What were your takeaways?
You know what I'm saying? I'm just
Yeah,
talking about
disappointing report
everybody.
this morning, still below that 50 level, and that's, above 50s contraction, below 50s, above 50s expansion, below 50s contraction. It's been below 50 for a while now. When it comes in below expectations, that's always a little bit disappointing. But as you mentioned, Sam, we focus more on ISM services. We are a services economy, and that should hold more weight in terms of the momentum and trajectory of the economy. That's been bouncing around a little bit, but expectations are for it to remain above 50 when that comes out on Wednesday. We're also going to be looking at the jobs data. We get jolts, so we'll see, are there more openings coming out there? And we also look at the quits rate. Quits, I think, is a good indicator of the labor market because
Using drugs. I don't really
rising
do drugs.
shows
I've
that
never seen drugs.
employees are pretty favorable at their prospects that they'll leave jobs. If the quits rate's falling, it kind
Going
of shows
uphill
the
ever
opposite.
since
It's been
then.
falling lately. So that's something that
Mom,
we're going to be focusing on.
family
Jolts
just
are
gifts me. I don't even
and
got
then
to
the
them.
culmination will be
I went down there for
Friday.
Christmas, giving them Christmas gifts.
The
They
good news is
giving me my
consensus
Christmas gifts back.
expectations as
I
of
said, I got
this
toilet
morning
paper.
suggest
Don't even
a
on top of
modest
it with it. But I
decline
don't think
in
it's my
March
toilet
from
back.
4.6
You know what? I took all my
to
stuff.
5%. That would be good news. The move we've seen recently is arguably bad. You could say mainly it's coming from an increase in the labor force. That would mean it's rising, maybe not for bad reasons, but if it is rising, that's not a thing we want to see. So we saw that reverse a little bit. I think the markets would
I took a
be
lot of
pretty
time
happy.
before that girl came around my
Okay,
face.
we'll be getting the jolts. We'll be
You
getting
know,
the
what was
AAP,
just
and
been
then
single
we're back to
forever?
programming with a
I didn't
jolts
know she was
Friday. So
on
we're
drugs.
watching. Hey, Colin, thank you. We're going to wrap it up there. Appreciate
Bro,
your time as always.
all I did was go to the store, come back,
Research and
and
strategy.
my baby is dying.
Research.
I
Coming
go
up
to
after
the
the morning
hospital,
trade, we'll take a closer look
she
at
come back to life,
Coinbase after
talking
an upgrade over at Goldman Sachs. We'll
She's
take a back
talking to the
right
hospital
away.
because she's sick. She's like, hey, it's gonna be all right. You know, and we prayed about it. And people me on the hospital because they're gonna say that I'm into whatever in there. My baby wants to get out of the bed. She wants to take the IV with her. You know, but nothing for autistic child in there. He's very picky. There's no veggie chips. There's no grilled cheese after that made. They get mercy for and come on, they kicked me out of it. What no juices, what no fruit sons, what no peanut butter what nothing. My baby was ready to get up and play.
Schwab Network delivers real-time market insights, live with NYSE, NASDAQ, SIBO, and beyond. From earnings to economic data, we cover what matters as it happens. Streaming 24/7, anytime, anywhere, free on SchwabNetwork.com.
I don't even know what they're talking about. Our company told you. I found them all individually and I told them to clean up because I saw what you heard. I'm cleaning up constantly. Bro, if I'm going past y'all place and y'all, all that pantry food, y'all sit outside, put all y'all floor, leave it, break the curtain, and you can see when they walk through. Everybody sees that stuff. And it's just like, bro, just clean up. I work with Cultivate. They told me they work with Dave. They said Dave gonna clean up, roaches in there, got cats. I ain't never been in Dave's house. All I know is I go into the pantry and they magically come shut the gate. And now we got a new gate. So, I don't know. I don't mess with these people. They just weird to me. Like, mess with me, talk to me, and then call the police and talk to you behind my back. I didn't do mean nothing to me the whole time. Steve, I had this love interest, and I'm in the house, what, trying to make another baby? Yeah, because I lost my kid young. So I ain't doing nothing to me, like, seriously. And I was just trying to get my rent paid. I love this place. Trying to take care of everything, cleaning up constantly. I mean, it was so bad when the kids were at St. Williams. And my brother is still there. I'm not trying to get put out nowhere. I'm trying to get my kids back. I'm trying to get stuff settled in court. You know, everyone ain't good. I've all been good. Just maybe a good father and stuff. That's really all I have is
Here's a look at crypto-related stocks today as Bitcoin does move higher. We're around the 92,000 mark on BTC today. Let's take a look at the chart because we have got actually coin rallying to the tune of 7% this morning, as you can see there. The Bitcoin treasury company strategy, formerly known as
that's why I'm happy to be over here out the way, away from everybody. You know, I don't have no negativity, no toxicity.
Of the morning trade at Coinbase, joining us now for a closer look is Molly Caden. Happy New Year and welcome back, Molly. It's so nice to see you, and you come with some good news. Goldman Sachs are giving Coinbase a bit of love today, and of course that comes alongside that nice rally and recovery we're seeing for Bitcoin. So what stands out about this note?
Yeah, and good morning to you, Sam, and happy New Year to you. Glad to be back after a little vacation off here, but like you said, good news this morning for Coinbase. Goldman Sachs did that upgrade that you mentioned. Also, we are seeing that rally in Bitcoin, and as you highlighted before we started speaking, they are correlated, so we are seeing a good move to the upside, more than 7% right now for Coinbase. For gold and their note, they upgraded to a buy from a neutral rating. The price target now $303. That's $494. So we're applying almost 100% upside from where we currently are. The analyst says the stock's year of underperformance. For 2025, it was down close to 10%. Has created an attractive entry point for investors. It also noted that the recent product launches across brokerage, banking, wealth, and tokenization enhance competitiveness of its core business, adding that its growing exposure to crypto infrastructure is a support subscription and services offering should dampen earnings volatility over time. Now, that chart we also showed again, the Bitcoin prices do show how volatile coin has been by comparison to those Bitcoin prices. Their subscription and services segment is mentioned several times. That includes custody, stablecoin, staking, and prime brokerage. That has expanded from just under 5% of revenue in 2020 to being nearly 40% of revenue.
I've never had $20
That's a big
paid off.
driver of this move to the upside.
And they mad at me.
Goldman is predicting here. The firm says it continues to see robust growth of about 13% annually up till 2027 as the crypto ecosystem evolves beyond trading. We start to see more regulation in this space and it coming more into the forefront. Goldman also says that it views Coinbase as a best-in-class play here on the growth of crypto infrastructure. Their scale and brand recognition continue to drive above-average revenue growth and market share gains. They're forecasting about a 12% compound annual growth rate in revenue through 2027. That's compared to about 8% for its peers. So they do see a lot of potential upside here for Coin. But like you said, a big move to the upside today, more than 7% so far this morning, Sam.
Yeah, nice day for Coin. Thank you so much for highlighting that note for us. Molly, I'll check in with you a little bit later on. Let's trade it now with Charles Moon, stock strategist from the Trading Academy. Good morning to you, Charles, and Happy New Year. I'm just looking at the price action, certainly over the last year or so. I mean, it's still down about 6% or so over 12 months, and some of that started to come off as we saw that pullback in those crypto prices. Highly correlated, even though it has decoupled somewhat. But just talk us through your example trade, how you're approaching this day.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't decoupled much. It certainly depended on how Bitcoin is going to be moving. Bitcoin had this pretty severe wall of resistance at 92.5. We've gone through that level, and that's really where this bullish kind of thesis has come into play with Coin, and you can see how responsive it is today. I was actually looking to have a bit of a pullback, but I'm not sure we're going to get it. If we can, I'd like that pullback to be right around 250, targeting to get into the 260 calls on the Jan 16 contract at $5 or lower. We may have to up that price to around $5.50. The stop is going to be at $2, so we want to define our risk. But I believe the upside is going to be at the very minimum 125% in gains or more if Coin could actually sustain this 251 price because the upside target for me in the near term is 275. And as we can see, if this momentum sustains, it only takes a couple of days for coin to get up there. So I'm looking more at a shorter dated time frame, taking a really aggressive approach, and really just trying to see if Wall Street's trying to buy into this name for the start of 2026 for a very positive Q1 for coin here.
All right, that's a quick look at coin, an example trade for us this morning, trading up 7.5%. So very much a good day across cryptocurrencies as we're starting to see that rebound in prices too. Hey, talk to us about your thoughts on the overall market performance today, Charles. We are seeing a nice all-time high for the Dow today. We're holding above 6,900 on the S&P 500, particularly off the back of what we got on the weekend.
Yeah, and it was a little shaky at the open, and again, I expect a lot of volatility. We tend to see volatility. We tend to see kind of contrarian price movement or unexpected price movement because Wall Street starts to really position themselves not just for Q1 but for all of 2026. So we could see a lot of volatility in names regardless of market performance, but right now, so far the start of the year, the rebound back above the 50 SMA and the Qs, these are all positive signs. There's been really strong buying in the financials, so that kind of points to the fact that Wall Street might be expecting a little bit more.
Man, my fault, y'all. I had to slap one of these people, boy.
It looks like right now Wall Street is really diving into a lot
over
of
disturb me from the chalk and stuff.
Nuclear energy names, so they're really starting to position themselves and build out some strategic opportunities
yes,
in the AI space, at least for what
may I speak to Chris Carney one more time, please?
Yeah, financials are very much outperforming this morning, up by 2.5%. We've got industrials higher, energy, as suppose no surprises, and consumer discretionary really taking the cake. Hey, thanks, Charles, as always. Really appreciate your insights this morning. That's Charles Moon, stock strategist, Profit Trading Academy. Coming up, we'll dive into the Trump administration's capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and what investors should be watching on the geopolitical front. Jay Pawlowski is going to join us next when Morning Trade Line comes back. Morning movers, be the first to find out what's shaping early market action. Tech check, options corner, futures focus, technical analysis. Morning movers covers it all. Grab your coffee and tune in every trading day at 8 a.m. Eastern. Oh, on Schwab Network. Stay connected to what moves the market. Download the Schwab Network app and stream anytime wherever you are.
Well, it's probably Bullish by Bourbon anyway, though. Damn, P.O.
From Chicago, weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Schwab Network. Welcome back to Morning Trade Live. I'm Sam Barnes, coming to you live from the New York Stock Exchange. Joining me now is Jay Pawlowski, the founder and chief strategist at TPW Advisory, for a look at the geopolitical impact of what we got on the weekend. Very good morning to you, Jay, and Happy New Year. So it's been a dramatic start to 2026, to say the least. Look, I'm just looking at the reaction in the markets today. We've been talking about that. Obviously, it looks like investors are largely looking past what we're seeing here as far as some of the geopolitical uncertainty. But there is a view out there that maybe markets aren't quite pricing in the sort of longer-term impact here of military intervention. What do you think?
Data ball!
It's great to be with you, Sam. Happy New Year. And I think the market's got it right. I don't think this is really indicative of much more than kind of the reinforcement of America's decision under President Trump to really downsize.
My landlord and everybody getting on my nerves this morning already, boy. Like, boy.
Hegemon to
I need somebody. Well, I need. Where my team at? I need somebody to talk to real quick. Well,
the Trump National Security
I don't want,
Strategy
you know.
document.
Oh, look at Tesla, boy. Okay. All right, Tesla. They said you. They said you was going to the ground, Tesla.
Trump embraces the tripolar world, really focusing U.S. back on the Americas, allowing China to focus.
They said you was going to the ground, Tesla.
And then Europe to kind of be determined whether Russia or the European Union is going to
Put my baby picture back on my computer. I want the picture of my kids on my computer, y'all. They always right here. I gotta tape it right here to my computer.
From our point of view, the tripolar world framework.
Hold on, I gotta text my assistant. If I have to slap somebody. Probably somebody around her. Because they're distracting her. You know what I'm talking about?
Going forward, we don't see the U.S. decision here.
Good morning.
Whether it's an oil play or not.
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna call my. I hate texting. I'm about to call my assistant.
It's not.
And tell her.
Really economic.
You know what I'm saying? Watch her say I'm the coldest. Watch this, y'all.
So we're skeptical that this really makes sense, whether from a short-term basis or even a medium or long-term basis. And so, you know, markets being up slightly makes sense to us. Latin American equities are up. Commodities are up. So no real surprise. Both commodities, particularly oil and emerging market assets,
Hey, good morning.
Today, either oversold.
Are you busy right now?
Short in the case of oil. So a little bounce here does not really come
I
as a
haven't heard nothing from my lawyer. I think I want to go down there and just let him know that I'm the coldest and be like, man, what have you been doing? I'm about to slap somebody in the office. No, I'm just playing. Slap somebody in that office. No, but look, I wanna write somehow get a report. I mean, I guess I could just kind of tell him what happened, see if he will take my case. Because if he won, no, he's already got one. I'm already paying this one. So, and then he's already doing the other side of the case, so he might as well put, do 100% of the whole case. And, make this, what are we really doing? We need to get all this stuff settled to where I can see these babies and everybody gets, clarity. This is what this is about. It's clarity. That's why so half these rascals gonna get sued. Just to let them know that they can't get away with none of that. Just messing with people's lives and stuff. Mainly them kids. I got blamed for that stuff. And I just told my landlord, because my landlord, my rental assistance people is trying to pay my rent. She act like she ain't getting the paperwork. Or whatever she's trying to blame on technology. But I know, I'm looking at the market right now. They ain't finna tell me what technology is doing, okay? I know how to use technology. So, man,
remains in place, so the weekend changed nothing on the front of access to Venezuelan oil. I think it does suggest that China will continue to drive forward with its renewables. Look, in our view, the winner going forward is going to be the electric power or electrostate that China is becoming, and its ability to infuse AI or the digital into the physical, namely robotics, what's called embodied AI, that will lead to dominance in the autonomous space, whether it's vehicles or factories, etc. That's really the game. The fact that the U.S. has decided to make a play for some of the most expensive oil in the world just reflects the gap in strategic thinking between China and the U.S. And in our view, anyway, China has the right strategic approach, and we have been and remain quite constructive on Chinese equity, both on the tech side as well as on the economic side. We think China is going to defeat deflation in 2026. We think there's going to be a China-U.S. rapprochement when President Trump visits Beijing in April. We think that will signal U.S. investors are okay to buy Chinese equities. And we would not be surprised to see China, once again, as it was in 2025, be a leader in global equities in 2026.
Okay, yes, I mean, back then purchases of crude oil, I mean, obviously
over
it's
here,
why they've been
and they
stocking
don't
up
want me in
200
this
million
area.
barrels last year. I mean, very much as far as analysts are concerned, in anticipation for some of this. As you say, security is number one. Just very quickly, if I can get your thoughts, Jay, just as far as the implications here for the energy dynamic. These companies that are rallying today, seeing their share prices up on some of the expectation that these could be investment opportunities here in the US. But at the end of the day, I mean, the fact is that this Venezuelan oil is heavy, it's sour, it's going to take years of investment, a lot of money. Obviously we don't have the infrastructure here. Just break it down as far as, who could really be the sort of winners and the losers in all of this, as the years go on.
Yeah, no, I think that's, again, the right question to ask. Currently, we think most of the Venezuelan oil is uneconomic. We don't think it makes a lot of sense for stocks to be rallying hard on the idea that there's going to be a near-term opportunity, near-term being over the next, let's call it 12 to 18 months. We are, however, bullish on energy. It's one of our biggest overweights this year, mostly because we think Wall Street has it wrong in regards to its price forecasts, which are expecting Brent to fall 10% or more in 2026, based on a view of a massive oil inventory overhang. We think that thesis is incorrect and will be proven incorrect over the course of 2026. And so, on a risk-reward basis, we have been, since the second half of last year, and remain today, very overweight energy, particularly oil. And so we're happy to be beneficiaries of some of the price action today, but our view is not that it's based on an opportunity in Venezuela. We think there's very little opportunity even in the medium term. It's going to take anywhere from $50 to $100 billion, according to estimates we've read, for Venezuelan oil to kind of return to production levels last seen in the year 2000 and in the 90s. We don't even know whether that's going to ever materialize, given that we think we're at the tipping point as renewables become more of a factor globally and oil reaches peak demand. And so we're skeptical that that oil is ever going to really prove to be very valuable. That does not mean that oil is not a great opportunity for 2026. We think it is.
Okay, we'll be watching as far as the price action today. You wonder if some will look in some of these products or just to ride it out, as you say. Jay, thanks so much for your time this morning. Always appreciate your insights. Jay Kowalski, super smart founder and chief strategist at TPW Advisory. Appreciate it. Tracking the reaction in the events in Venezuela, in global markets this morning. European markets mostly higher, with aerospace and defense stocks among the biggest winners. Defense stocks also rallying out in Asia, helping drive gains in the South Korean and Japanese markets, which both hit all-time highs in the session. The Kospi closing up nearly 3.5%. The Nikkei ending up nearly 3% on its first day of trade in 2026. Shares of Samsung and SK Hynix also helping sentiment after reports the South Korean chip makers are looking to raise prices for server memory by as much as 70% in Q1. Chinese stocks also rallying as mainland Chinese A shares resume trade after a market holiday. The Shanghai Composite crossing the 4,000 level for the first time in nearly 3 months as investors rushed back into chip and AI names, although shares in some of China's biggest energy companies, PetroChina, Sinopec, oil majors falling. China is the big customer and investor in Venezuela's oil sector. Meantime, the latest PMI numbers out of China showing services sector activity expanding again, but at the slowest pace in 6 months in December. The private gauge showing a reading of 52. That's still above the boom or bust line, but coming off as business and demand came off as well. Coming up, it's time for Inside Out. We'll take a closer look at Tesla, Rivian, and the rest of the EV space. We bring you an example trade when Morning Trade Live returns.
Hey, investors, you know the market moves, and Schwab is here to help you move with it. So, whether you're buying, selling, holding, or planning, whether you're ETFing, 401k, saving, spending, or even retiring, you can count on Schwab for market insights, live support, powerful trading platforms, and 400 branches. All at your service, all so you can invest your way. Sounds nice, right?
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Jenny Horn. This is Next Gen Investing, where we track the trends shaping tomorrow's markets.
From tech to energy, crypto to consumer, we focus on what's driving investor sentiment right now.
Clear analysis and forward-looking market coverage every trading day.
This is a make or break level for the stock. And that could certainly be a short to near-term catalyst.
Next Gen Investing, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Only on Schwab Network.
Let's go inside out on auto stocks. Joining us now is Carl Brower, who's the executive analyst at iccars.com. Very good morning to you, Carl, and happy New Year. So let's just talk about the state of the EV landscape after those Q4 delivery numbers that we got from Tesla last week. And of course, I think the big focus in the market was the fact that it just wasn't enough as far as what its Chinese competitor is doing, losing out its top spot there to BYD. What do you make of it?
Well, it's been a tough year, 2025. We saw the kind of plateauing of demand, certainly in the U.S. and even somewhat globally. And this was all before the election last fall and this change in many of these policies. And now, of course, those have only added to it. The loss of the EV credit, which pulled a lot of sales into Q3 and made a lot of these companies look good, but it was because a lot of sales were pulled forward because they knew that the incentive was going away. And once it went away, Q4, as we've now seen, fell pretty hard. And I just don't see any reason to think that in 2026 any of these numbers are going to move back up. Certainly in the U.S. and for companies that are U.S. based and are selling mostly in the U.S., which would be the Rivians and the Lucids and even Tesla. It's going to be a tough year for them.
Okay, so it's going to be a tougher year as far as the roadmap is concerned for 2026. But let's just park some of the others there and focus on Tesla, because I do want to sort of get your thoughts on the fact that, obviously we saw the Q4 delivery numbers coming in down 16% year on year, and then BYD taking the, new title, etc. But does that matter? Because when you look at the Wetbush notes out, when you look at the Mizuhos of the world, while they do believe it's going to be a very challenging year for automakers, I mean, everyone's looking at Tesla as a robotics and driverless car and basically an AI company. Is that how you see things?
And some type of...
Well, that's how Elon wants everyone to see things, because he knows he's hit peak auto. So he's doing a good job of presenting the AI and the robotics and the self-driving argument. And I'll admit that I'm impressed with how far the capabilities of this driving program has come, and his ability to have these vehicles both in private hands as well as the robo-taxis navigate fairly complex circumstances. But he still has to get to where he's not got safety drivers in the cars, where Waymo's way past that, and he's still got to get to where he proves that to regulators at a level that they'll let him start getting, certified for use in widespread areas in multiple markets. And all this has to happen, fairly quickly. Waymo is continuing to really aggressively advance in this area. And if he can get his robo-taxis going in the next year with a lot of these challenges solved, and he doesn't have LiDAR, which also still makes me think he's got somewhat of a disadvantage versus some of the other companies out there doing this, but he's got a lot of work to do to get caught up and certainly to surpass where some of these other leading companies like Waymo are at already.
Okay, so there's consensus out there that it's going to be a pretty challenging old year, pretty tough again for car makers, particularly in this space with a lot of the headwinds that you obviously highlighted there. So what's the secret sauce here? I mean, what's the winning formula to get ahead in this market when you've got some of the challenges around launches, obviously some of the high-profile car makers pulling back on some of their electrification plans, as well as the demand picture is concerned? Who wins this game?
I think the traditional automakers, with the ability to pivot between gasoline and electric vehicles, depending on what's going on in the market and regulations in the moment, are well positioned. And, generally speaking, their stocks did quite well last year, and I think they're positioned to do well this year again, certainly the U.S. automakers. I think whether you're a traditional automaker or an electric vehicle maker, if you can again spread your capabilities beyond just the
No, my emotions is fine. That I'm saying that's all we literally have to give to him, so we can go forward. He gonna take the case or not take the case. Somebody gotta take the case. You know,
these are things that help.
we need to know what we're doing.
Whether it's solid state batteries or an improved infrastructure, anything electric vehicles do want to
You know what I'm saying? They gonna destroy some kids' life. I'm over here trying to make some money to go see him and can't see him. That's what I'm doing. That's it. That's all I got.
Interesting situations going on globally with various governments pushing, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think very different dynamics in places like Europe with the so-called tug of war between, obviously the supply and the demand situation and China's just its own sort of, tactical top-down approach there with the government. But, hey, Carl, we're going to time to go. Thank you so much for joining us today. Always appreciate your insights. Carl Brown, executive analyst at ITCar.com. Thank you. Let's trade it now with Alex Poppy, co-host of Next Gen Investing. All right, Alex, you've got example trading projects like Tesla.
I mean, I might as well just give them the history and just tell them I'm already writing a book. I'm not gonna write a book within a book. I might as well just tell him and have Chat GPT write what I'm saying now, or vice versa. We can go over it together. I can tell them the whole story. We tell them to computer, they write it, and make an email with it, print it, or you know what I mean, and then we just send it to them. Are you doing this? Write a letter and I'll put my name on it. I don't even know. I mean, are you doing it? I mean, I will tell you and then I'll just tell you right now. All the evidence in the world is that this
Expectations for what's going to be a bumpy ride for some of these automakers this year. Let's check in on where the market stands right now because we have got the S&P 500 climbing higher this morning, looking past some of the geopolitical impact and the uncertainty of what transpires developments in Venezuela over the weekend. We are seeing a nice rally for some of these oil majors, some of these energy companies. So
I'm doing a lot of thinking. I'm overwhelmed. I'm doing everything. But yeah, I can do that. I got to call them. Yeah, I'm a one-man business. Running a business. I'm day trading right now. I'm about to call the landlord and see why she's not receiving and the pantry's not receiving. So I'm about to call them. Well, I'm in the middle of trying to make money still to see my kids and make money through a business. I got to figure out one problem with this, do this with that, get a hold of the cousin for the capture card still, take these gifts off. I'm going to call the pan treats and see why, and I'm going to call the landlord. I mean, just, we need one person or somebody else to help me with something. Because it's like a lot of stuff. Let alone clean up and still go through all that stuff we was talking about. It'd be a lot. Day trading, the man's looking at a chart and looking at the setup. The setups can switch every 30 seconds. I'm on here missing my money, might be missing the exit on my trades, you know. I'm already in the trade. What you mean stop working?
Well, I'm just saying, in order to get things done, it's not going to happen by itself. And I understand that you're working, and I understand that you want to make money for the babies, but we might have to just put something on pause for just a second and prioritize what's important and what needs to get done immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the number one thing right now? We know
I want to drop these gifts off first, and then I'll write down.
That's number one right now. That's the number one thing you have going on.
Yeah.
Trying to make it work less overwhelming for you. And you're saying the gift is the number one thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, never not. It's always something. So once I like do that, and then have the letter give to you at the same time, do that, and then before that, do the landlord stuff. I've been
Why are you giving the letter to me?
well, not. I mean, constructing it, at least getting it together to be
Oh,
getting
okay.
sent. Just getting it organized. That's how it is. Cause just organizing myself.
So,
I gotta have time for everything to do everything.
okay, well, as far as the gift goes, it won't be today. It will be tomorrow. As far as approving them.
That's perfect. That is
Okay.
perfect.
So I feel like today you can attack some of these things. Like take 15 minutes off for a second, take a 15-minute break, and construct your email and get down to
No, I
your
can't do that right now. The market is open. I gotta call the pantry and have them call the landlord first because I just got off the phone with the landlord and they have to pay my rent now. It's due by the 6th. You know,
So
they
how much do you owe altogether?
last month rent and this month rent is probably about 600. But it don't matter what I owe. I just need them to get together with the information and pay it. And it's already at zero. I don't owe anything on it. Sorry. But the pantry is gonna pay the rent. I'll do it. That's fine. I'll pay my own rent. That's the fine. I make my own money. I pay my own rent. This ain't rocket science. I'll pay my own rent. Can't get no loan out. I'll pay this month rent. You can't pay the rent. There's no emergency. There's no other emergency service to pay the rent. I mean, come on. Who else? No, I'm not waiting. I can't wait for them. My stuff keep 2 months behind. I just got paid. I will pay my own. Like this month was my portion of the rent. That's what I would do. And then the pantry would still pay 2 months worth of rent. That's what would happen. But I wouldn't have to pay if the landlord and the pantry would just had, the landlord. Come on now. I would have three-way them and figure out why they not getting an email together or getting a phone call together. I would vet the street. I don't know, because I don't know what they're doing. But I ain't with the manipulation in the gas station. I tell them that I ain't with that.
Is it moving in the streets in front of me after you?
Yeah, yeah, and they talking about they on sent that stuff twice, and all I know is my landlord got me wiping stuff outside my door when she could have had maintenance do it, and she telling me that she got a police report, and what are you talking about? If you don't get my rent paid, I don't care about what you telling me. Somebody else is telling you that don't ain't even meaning anything. I didn't even do nothing. That you know what I mean? She talking about something else. I'm talking about getting my rent paid.
It is important if
They lying. Tell me what you know. That's why I say I ain't with the manipulation and the gaslight. Am I in trouble or no? Don't tell. I didn't do nothing, so I ain't in trouble. Ain't no police report. I called the police. I told you I told you I was calling the police. So that's not how the police came over. Oh, I know what she's talking about now. I know what she's talking about. There was police over here. That wasn't me. I know what she's talking about. Uh huh. Somebody else had the police on them, and they keep thinking everything is something like I'm doing something to somebody. Bro, I'm in the house. I don't know nobody over here. I don't come out unless I go to the pen treats. They talking about the police was over here, and they blaming me for everything. Everybody knocking on my door for their packages getting lost. I told them, I said, bro, call Amazon. Why you calling me? Why you knocking on my door while I'm streaming right now? I go live every morning. I said, bro, I ain't been outside messing with nobody packages. Why y'all bothering me? They don't send big sons over here, little son, the mama banging on my door. Like I'm just some punk or something. Banging on my door like you the police and demand your package in my house. And I'm like, bro, ain't shit in here. You know, I'm trying to figure out what they on the phone with you that got away from or walked right away from it or when you said that. And I'm sitting here thinking like, even my white people neighbors, all I did was ask to use their phone. But if they called my landlord and said they had a problem with me, they don't want to mess with me because I ain't been over there. If they call my mama make this money, run this business, help somebody's family and community and stuff. That's what I'm doing all the time. Like literally. So, but the police that did come over, it was two police people that came. One that I called, but somebody else had an altercation, and I think they just was. I think either she was worried about it, or she said that she got a police report, but she was trying to gaslight her way into, either me snitching or me admitting that it was. I don't know. That's why I said I don't do the gaslight. You just ask me straight up. Am I in trouble, or you got what on me? Don't ask me about somebody else's problem. That's what it was. Cause I didn't know what she was finna try to tell me to connect me to anything. I don't know. I didn't know what she was talking about. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was, and she didn't know how to ask me what she wanted to figure out. But I'm not, that's why I say just don't be playing. I don't be playing. I'm straightforward. The money's looking good actually too. Took profits on this one, re-entered another one. I got plays that expire late to. I need help eventually. Like how we was gonna go through the kids and stuff with this new person I met. I told her I need help like decorating here too. I don't know what to do. Like this place has never really looked like a home. It's, I mean, the kids were always here. Don't get me wrong, but it just never got decorated like a home. If that makes sense. My curtain is a my curtain is hilarious. I got that the cover that goes around the bed, the mattress top. It's on my. It's not a curtain. It's hanging up as one. I'm cooked. And I'm still, despite what people might feel and think about me, I'm trying to be a good person, good man. I ain't never gave nobody no Christmas. I wasn't even believing in Christmas like that a couple years ago. But for me to find it in my heart to just, try to make somebody else smile and I'm up here streaming while I'm tired and stuff and trying to help people get to the money. Oh, come on, Q's, baby. Wow. Okay. Market is our happy place. Okay. You know, when they come down in history, what I'm saying? When they gonna be like, man, my daddy wasn't nothing until they start checking them bank accounts, them kids. They gonna be like, dang, my daddy wasn't always there, but he really was the coldest though. That's what they gonna say. They gonna be like, dang, they didn't do a whole lot when he might have been there. He was rough. He was always yelling, or he was mean, or what it might look like. They didn't understand, but they left some in them accounts though. Daddy did leave something though. I'm still living off daddy. Whatever daddy said to me, I somehow remember it and makes sense now. When I call, hey, I need y'all to invest in Google. I need y'all to look at them charts. Tell your mom to get you that phone. Ain't no calling, telling y'all to answer the phone. I ain't gonna call them that. You so old enough to answer your phone. Call for actual use that money. Anyway, watch this. I know my money that I was raising my kids is over there. Find her phone. Get the other kid that can use face and tablets. Because that's what we was working on when I had my kids. There's no reason why she didn't cost me a little bit more yet. We was working on hers constantly. I know what they're doing and not doing over there. Already. And I'm calling and can't get through. Can't talk to my kids. I ain't never stressing over there because I'll be over here happy now. Oh, that's good. Feeling good. The seat takes until somebody else comes. Then they gonna be, not good or never say good or toxicity or manipulation. I'm more running a business. We gotta do the persuasion. We can't get manipulated. We
drug dealers and the people who are hustling this thing and all that. I'm like, I don't know why you like that, and this, that, and the third. It ain't gonna be how my dad died, he just died, and it's gonna be how the last person died. Oh yeah. What did my dad like? Oh, he did not talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my daddy was he was 70. He was in great shape. Right. Let me call you right back though. All these are printing. All of these are printing. Shut up! I'm trying to make a call. Hello?
May I help you?
Oh my God, sorry about that. Yes, may I speak to Miss Courtney, please?
Just a minute.
From the most iconic trading floor in the world, this is Opening Bell with Nicole Petalides, live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. The countdown, the setups, the stories that make markets move. Minute by minute breakdown of the biggest headlines, earnings, and global movers. Just the trades that matter. As the bell hits and the markets react in real time, Opening Bell, live at the NYSE, right when it counts.
Believe me, when it comes to investing, you'll love Carl's Way. Take a left here, please. But there's a... Carl's Way is the best way.
Is it? At Schwab, how I choose to invest is up to me.
Exactly. I can invest and trade on my own.
Yes, and I let them manage some investments for me, too.
Let's move on, shall we? No can do.
I'll get up.
Where are you going?
Schwab. Schwab, a modern approach to wealth management.
Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Marley Caden. It's time for the big three. We've got 3 stocks, 3 charts, and 3 trades. Rick Ducat will take us through the charts as always. Here to take us through the trades is Charles Moon from Prosper Trading.
I don't know what's going on in my mind sometimes, yo. I mean, I'm a deep thinker. I'm a chess player. Y'all know that, right? So I'll just be knowing all this stuff and feeling all this stuff.
We're going to face a little bit of volatility at the
And
end of the year. Even with the markets up, some stocks
I don't stand for no bull crap. You get me?
institutions are really positioning themselves for not just Q1 but for all of 2026. We've seen some real standout names. We've seen some suppression in some of the Mag 7 as well, and NVIDIA is one of the leaders to the downside today. So it's a bit interesting to see how the market is digesting everything, and then, you know, what could look weak today could look really strong tomorrow. You know, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on what happens in the first 4 weeks of the year. It's really after that 4-week period when we progress that's really going to give us a guiding light on how Wall Street's positioning themselves.
All right, so let's.
No, you talking about Frost positioning himself? You talking about Frost positioning himself? Because Wall Street ain't paying me.
25% last year. You know, walk us through this pick.
Yeah, and this is, you know, huge gains, but it's, you know, specifically really well off their highs at 193.84. They've come back to this 200-day moving average. They've been recovering up since the start of 2026. There's been some really strong and aggressive buying. So one of the key levels I was watching here was this 87, $88.
Let me go ahead and get out of this Q play, bro. I'm a little bit too far out on the money, but I'm up a lot on this Q call I had. I didn't get a chance to get the right exit, but this is a higher high right here, though.
We're seeing a lot of names. We're seeing Oracle itself.
This is a higher high. Move up. No way nobody try to make that right there. Like, get out of here. I'm so sick of everything sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? It's always something, you know what I mean? I wake up, landlord getting on my nerves. You know, ain't no way I sent information last month. You still ain't got the stuff where it was supposed to go yet. Like, what are y'all even doing to me? Like, wake up, people trying to stress me out immediately. They ain't even here. They stressing me out. It's crazy. You know, find a support and break out. If I have to slap somebody, you know what I'm saying? I'm so sick of this stuff. If this breaks, I'm out. Right here. This sloping right here. If they break right there, I'm out. I'm not waiting for this. This diagonal right here. If that support happened to break a little bit, I'm out. That's where they should be. I think they should receive that bounce at. If they don't, I'm out. If they do, I'll stay in. Yep, looking good. They about to bounce right there. Look at it. A little bit more, a little bit more. Hey, 2026. Hey, get that dude. He fired. Get him up out of there. He coming in there drunk and everything. Get him up out of there. This is 2026. Hire Frob on Swabington. Get that dude up out of there. He don't even know what year it was. Get him up out of there.
All right, so with Oklo, we are seeing that, highlighting those points that you brought up here in our next one.
Yeah, highlight that point. Yeah, highlight it. Yeah.
Really well off of its 52-week highs here when we're talking about Costco.
Let's go!
Recent move to the upside today. Mizuho named them their top picks list and upgraded them to outperform and up their price. You walk us through your outlook on Costco.
I look at the market trying to pull back right here. Yeah, look at them. Yeah, I would get out of there with a profit. I don't know what y'all talking about. Frost had a consistent trade tip. Frost be needing help in there sometimes.
Last month is that they're starting to bottom out right around this 840, 850 price range. They've hit some higher lows here. They're triggering this.
You heard me, chat? Probably needing help in here.
This W reversal pattern is usually a sign that the long-term
trend is
starting to reverse. So a downtrend starting to reverse into an uptrend. Now, this critical price range that I'm looking at, quite honestly, is right around this 873 to 875 price range.
I gotta use the restroom too. I might as well leave him. I'm about to leave a message too for her. I don't wait for nobody to call back. I'm about to leave a message.
Costco really shoot towards the 50 SMA.
They probably already taken care of it too. Oh, look at it breaking down. All right.
It's a lot of
Okay.
dependence on holding these critical
I should have got out right there, but they trying to break down.
I would look for that
MACD curling downward a little bit.
targeting up
They're
to
about to sell.
896. I think that would happen in probably about a 2-week time period. So short-dated opportunities that are being presented in a name beloved by retail traders.
All right, we're just below that level right now, trading just a bit above 871 right now. So, Rick, when you look at the technicals here, are we signaling a potential breakout?
Oh man, they ain't getting no volume right here to go down either. It's crazy.
This is certainly the point that could be the tipping area here. The reason why 871.71, that very nitpicky specific price level, that was our low that we saw back here. That was also about where we hit lows during one of our more recent declines as well. That's about where we've hit resistance so far. So that level 873, that's a very close area. That's a similar area that I have my eye on as well as an important supportive area here, or rather resistance area.
Data vault, let's go! Pop out, data vault. They try to bring you the 50 cents. Pop out then.
Triangle type shape has formed after we had our earnings.
Okay, Archer, I see you, Archer.
So now,
that's why you on the lit. That's why you have made the Frostman 21 lit, and people don't even know what they hearing. They don't know what you was reacting to. You know what I mean? They don't know what you was highlighting, swabbing to. Get your thoughts up there.
872, 873 area. So
yeah,
even more emphasis on
put them on there.
Potential level of trend shift.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all need Stephen A. Fraud up there. That's what y'all need. Stephen A. Fraud up there.
Area near that 870 level here. To the upside, then our monthly or our quarterly EMA, our 63-day EMA, that lines up with the upper level of our trend line from our wedge type shape there as well. RSI, unlike our last chart, not quite breaking through the trend line or that 50 midline yet, that critical bullish support, supportive signal that we would see there. But we are making new relative highs there, so look for that other shoe to drop if we do see this breakout start to materialize. Finally, our volume profile study shows we have nodes here near about 850, and then things start to pick up again, notably here near about 915, 920 or so. Those are the areas that are closest to where we are now that stand out the most from this perspective.
All right, and highlighting those levels, just hopefully if Charles' thesis holds up within the next 2 weeks, we could get up to those levels. Now, this last one, I'm taking having a monster day today. We're talking about a firm. They're up more than 8% just today. Walk us through this final pick here, Charles.
Yeah, since the first trading day of the year on Friday, we're seeing some demand really funneling into the financials. And we've seen how JP Morgan reacted today. SoFi is another one that's just really screaming to the upside, but maybe this is an anticipation that there's going to be more rate cuts than the dot plot suggests, which would generally be good for the financial sector. A firm has been in this kind of weird consolidation back and forth zone between 65 and 80. Now they're poking above 80. I think the breakout price is realistically right around 81.50. Once it breaks through that level, there's really nothing to slow it down from, reapproaching that.
Be careful, y'all, in this market.
Zone. That's where my target would be on this 81.5 breakout. The 52-week high is $100 even. That could easily be tested as well, but it's really interesting to see how this stock is performing. And anytime we see stocks in this consolidation range for months start breaking free, it could lead to really fast gainers. So that's really what I'm looking at, that 81.5 breakout. I think that's going to jump it towards 90, 95. We'll see what a firm does there. But at the very least, this should be at least trying to go towards that 52-week high. There's great upside. Another name beloved by retail traders. And again, if they start garnering some real momentum, it'll get up to that 90, 95 zone much, much quicker than people would anticipate.
All right, so another potential short-term move to the upside here. When we look at the technicals for a firm, Rick, you can see highlighted that move to the upside we're seeing. But what are they showing?
Hey, a firm fraud. How about that? A firm fraud. How about you do that?
Blue lines here, typically regarded as more of a bullish type of setup. In this case, it did play out to the upside after we held on here near about 63. Very close to that 65 level. I certainly wouldn't really quibble with that. The reason why is kind of this general area where we saw price stopping and starting. It was also this gap area back here too. as well. So that was the supportive area. We rallied. Then our short-term price activity, you could draw this white trend line going across our lows. Our big bounce today is taking out our old relative highs here. So then you could duplicate the trend line, use it to project potential resistance. But from another perspective here, just one of our horizontal
you ain't.
resistance
Like,
levels,
you ain't doing that. You're not doing that. You're not even doing that trade. Hey, you're not even doing that for real.
That was about where we found support here. Now we have stalled out temporarily.
Let's go, Data Vault. You know what I'm saying? When they was counting you out, Data Vault, I believed in you. Frost knew what he was talking about when he said it. How about that?
Are starting to diverge apart from the slower ones, suggesting the trend is still strengthening at this point. RSI on pace to make new relative highs along with price here, so that would be again more of a confirmatory signal for this near. Finally, our volume profile study, the point of control, in this case our thick red line, that heavy trading area, right about where we are breaking above right now. That comes in specifically near 76. So again, more of an auspicious sign for the bullish crowd that we're breaking above this heavy trading area here. Things pick up again in this area to kind of cap out near 90, then trail off very precipitously.
All right, yeah, right now trading at about 80.52 on its own mini breakout today, already up more than 8%, closing on a 9% for a firm today. Charles, we want to appreciate you being with us for Big Three. Thanks so much for joining us for Prosper Trading Academy. And of course, Rick Ducat, our leader. Always being here. Up next, we're going to
the market bullet. How about that, Vic? How about that, Vic? The market bullet. How about that? You know, the market bullet. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Paul said that the market was going to be bullets. But he was up all night making the video. It didn't even get out there yet, so keep your eyes open. It's going to be out there today. How about that?
Same goes for where you invest.
Tell a whoop-dee-doo.
Smarter with Schwab.
Morning move.
Hey, where our friends at, chat? We don't got nobody in the chat talking for real.
Check. Options corner. Futures focus. Technical analysis. Morning movers covers it all. Grab your coffee and tune in every trading day at 8 a.m. Eastern, only on Schwab Network.
Whether you're an experienced investor or just getting started, Charles Schwab offers a webcast that's right for you. The Platforms and Tools webcasts are designed to help you broaden your knowledge of platform features and resources available from Schwab. You'll learn tips and tricks to help navigate Schwab.com, Thinkorswim, and mobile-based platforms. Best of all, you can ask questions by chatting directly with an education coach. It's interactive learning at its finest. Tune in live or watch on demand. Head over to schwab.com/coaching and start learning today.
Kick off the morning with the data and the decisions moving markets. Morning Trade Live breaks down the macro moves driving the price action, from Fed policy to global growth to inflation prints and geopolitical risk. Smart, fast, and always live from Wall Street to your screen. Morning Trade Live, where the markets meet the macro. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Let's see if they want to get to it on the chat 2K fields.
Stay connected.
See if they want to get to it on the 2K
Download the
fields.
Schwab Network app and stream anytime wherever you are.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Andrew. Last year, my dad had a stroke.
Yo.
To see this person that I've always seen as a force for
I seen him.
had a stroke?
Bro, Scooby-Doo would have said that shit. You had said that.
Daily, I started to
Hey,
realize
you got
what can I pick up from my dad. He's been with Schwab for a long time.
Jim, financial consultant.
Bro, you garbage with all the other bills. Why you keep making other
Jim's
bills?
really been there to answer any questions I ever have. Makes a huge difference when you have someone that actually cares.
What's up, Carl Nation? It's your #1 broker with the best full-service wealth management skills in the biz.
Actually, I've seen something from Schwab.
You want to make some bonus.
Schwab lets you
Now
invest
you want to make y'all
Yeah,
bills.
if you want, they can even manage.
Look, I felt that what Hydra said, you keep making the same deal.
Taxes, insurance, and estate planning, all those little fees. We're experiencing technical.
When I just said that, I felt that shit. My shit had me dying, bro. He said, Joe, keep making the same deal. Yo, you got this,
JD
girl.
360.
So you
I'm
making
Carly
a dream?
King, live in our Chicago headquarters. It's time to spotlight AI in 2026 and where the
Hold on,
industry is
hold on.
headed.
Let me slow
Joining us
down.
now
I'm
is Philip
sorry.
Heltewig, the
What
Chief
bill you
AI
making now
Officer
again?
at NICE. Philip, thank you for being with us and Happy New Year to you. Before we kick off your expectations for AI in 2026, would you mind telling our viewers a bit about NICE and what it is you do there?
Hey, he gonna be able to
Yeah,
shoot.
sure. Great to be here and Happy New Year as well. So at NICE, we're a leader in customer experience. So we're powering some of the world's
Bro,
largest
somehow we lost by
contact centers.
150.
And we recently acquired a company called Cognigy, which was founded by me and
Bro, I looked
two of my
up.
colleagues.
I paid at 3:13 in the morning, bro. I thought they got me up behind the crew because they lost by 150, bro. And then Jim Rich tried to fight me, bro. I almost laid him out, bro.
Agents, and that's what we're talking about here today.
So with NICE having
That's
been
somebody's hands,
in
bro.
the center and certainly in the mix
Real,
of this
bro. I wasn't even
AI-powered
talking to him.
customer
I was talking to
experience
you.
for
We tried to
years,
get to you,
but
bro.
now it's really
I
entering
said, let's
mainstream
play horse or
discussion.
something.
How has
Let's do a
AI
three-point
already
shootout. Like,
changed
I don't even know what
how
they talking about.
enterprises operate? And
I don't even
also,
know what
how
they
do you
talking
think the
to
market
half
is
the time.
still underestimating AI in
Yeah,
its
how you
role
can
in
go
the
in
enterprise
and
customer
fight it out?
experience?
Why can't me and somebody else go
Yeah, so
fight
we've
it out?
been doing this for a number
The
of years now.
backcourt.
We saw that enterprises that early on invested in AI infrastructure, especially
Now look, I
service,
was
have
done
really
with Be
created
Nice
amazing
because they
experiences
with Be
for
Nice
many
and
of
Tuck
their
was just
customers.
arguing for no reason
Right? When you think
nonstop
about
because they
large
both Geminis.
airlines, if a severe weather event strikes or something like that, then you just can't reach anyone on the phone.
They both
anymore.
lost
That's
control.
where
I
AI
already
comes
knew
in,
Be
because
Nice
AI
would
doesn't
bust his
sleep.
butt.
AI
Like why they
scales
keep
with technology,
messing with
so
him?
you
You
can have
know.
one person calling, you can have 100 people.
Like I got into it with Tuck, right? Like check this out, Joe.
And AI will be able to help
Regardless
us
what anybody
in those
say about Be
customers.
Nice,
This goes across a number
you know,
of
just like
industries,
fraud.
aviation,
I'm listening to Tuck trying to tell
retail,
me,
and many others.
you know,
And we really
that's
see
Be Nice,
these
this and
companies
that.
that have invested
I said, bro,
in
who
this
on the
early
crew
on to
abandoned
really
him
reap
though?
the
Like who
benefits
should we
now,
give the
because
ball
they've
to?
made their experiences with AI, and they are
Who
creating
doesn't make sense
amazing
that we play
return on
through?
investment
Some,
from
I
these
mean, you know,
investments that they've made very early
when you
on.
look at all the shooting guards, he
Philip,
is
one
somewhere
of your
working on his
predictions that
game.
stuck
He's
out the
trying to get
most to
better.
me,
Granted,
you
you need
said,
a
is
pass
that
more.
one
I told
human
him that
could
for years.
support 5 live customer
gotta hit the right
interactions
man.
at once with AI agents
That's how
doing
you're
the
gonna average
heavy
more.
lifting.
He said,
How
no, I'm
realistic
just
is
gonna
that
get better at
for, and
scoring. He's
what has
gonna
to
be
go right
more efficient.
for that
You know what I
to
mean?
work?
Like
Yeah.
if he
I mean, thinking
trusted
about
with
the
more
traditional
volume,
scenario,
he's
you
gonna
have
shoot a higher
one
percentage. That's what
human
he said. He's
customer
gonna work on
talking
his
to one
game.
human agent. So that's a one-to-one
He got
relationship,
moves.
right? And this human agent will not be able to support
Like you
more
say,
than
you
one
rim running,
customer
I'm
because
rim
they can only
running.
have one conversation at a
Or we
time.
got people standing in the
Now,
corner,
when you
or we got
play
people
the
I
lead,
saw
so
with
it's
no
AI
moves.
agents
I saw
actually
him with no
speaking
moves.
with the end customers. They only need to reach
Me,
out to human
you
agents
making
if there's something
one.
that
I
they
mean,
don't
everybody
know
else
that
don't
they
have a
can't
dribble
solve.
moves to know how to create off
So
the
the
Joe
interactions
Dirt.
that hit the human agents
Like think
are
about
far
this.
less than
I mean,
in the
I'm just
original
thinking about
scenario.
like how
So we're
everybody
saying
plays.
that with one human agent, you can now support 5 or more calls at a time. In chat, this is
I do
even more
too, but
significant, right? Where these,
I mean, you already know how to play and
these
compared
AI
to all
agents,
the
they
other
can
people who
communicate
don't
on
and
chat,
don't have
so
all
on
the
text,
IQ as a whole,
or they can
as far as
communicate on
everything,
voice
just
channels.
having everything.
Now,
That's
the channel back
a regular
to the
basketball
human
player should
agents
have.
does not
We
have to be the
we
same
all
channel.
lacking
So you can
something.
be on the phone with an AI agent,
But
and the
you know,
phone
me,
reaches out
you,
via chat to a human
you know, the
agent,
people that's
which
the
allows
ghosts on the
human
team,
agent to
we ain't
support
lacking
even
nothing. How
more
about that?
conversations concurrently.
And so as AI takes ownership of
So I was
more
just like,
and
Tucky,
more
how
of the
you gonna say Be
workflow,
Nice ain't good?
where does human
Well, he is the
judgment
best
come
shooting guard
into play?
in
Where
his
does that
position on
human
our team.
interaction
Whatever he is, he's the
matter
best at
most?
that on our team. Best shooting guard on our
I
team.
mean,
Who better?
it really depends on the processes that are relevant for each
Who else to give the ball to?
Maybe
Gag,
it's
let Gag
threshold
take all them
discounts,
shots.
approval
I mean, no
thresholds,
disrespecting
etc.,
him.
that
Let
I
me
think
take all them shots and try to create all them
Do
plays.
we want AI to make all the decisions, or do we want to pull in
Those
humans
others depend
to
on.
make sure
I
that
mean,
all the
it don't matter who
decisions
what team it
are
is.
made
They
on
depend on that
sound
dude
ethical
still.
foundations? And so
Once
it
they
really
know that
depends
he
on
can
the
do that, they
configuration.
looking
You
for
can
that.
pull
That's
in
where my
humans
assist
as
gonna
much
be.
as you like
That's everybody know
throughout
that.
these processes. You can
That's like Marbury playing with Garnett. He know where to give the ball to on the lob or whatever, on the transition, or what have you. He looking for Garnett. I don't care if he was at the 3-point line, they looking at Garnett.
And you bring up a really good point there, Philip, in this conversation we have about the AI-human interaction, about trust and accountability here, and it being ethical.
How you
As
doing,
AI
Casual?
becomes a first point of
I heard what
contact
you
for
said, but I got
customers,
that email
how
that you said
specifically
that,
are
bro.
you building systems that are not just
I want you to
fast,
know,
but they're
I
also
read that email thoroughly,
accountable
and I
and
took some
ethical
time
and
to
transparent?
respond. And I'm not no bitter, what you call me? I'm not a bitter baby mama bitch, okay?
Almost like human agents,
She can have that. She can have that shit. She got the kid. She got them checks I got for the kid. And all that shit. She can have that Monty. She can have all that shit. How about that? They can have all the. They can have the Christmas, the Thanksgiving. They can have all that shit. How about that? They can have that shit. How about that? Hey Joe, where that whoop-dee-doo come from? How about that? Tell her whoop-dee-doo. They can have that shit. I'm over here. We in the markets.
And that's where our
You know.
systems excel.
And if 2026
That's what we
is
worried about.
really
We just
the
in the
year
market.
where we see AI
We'll see them
become
kids. I'll get over
essentially
there when
a
I get over there.
coworker joining the
Oh,
workforce,
you bring them down with all that damn money I got. How about that?
preparing their organizations right now for this shift?
Don't tell me what my responsibilities need to be.
I mean, let's look at AI what it is. It feels like a magical technology.
For real, right? I'm a bad boy. I'm gonna concentrate on my mental health and my household, get my rents paid before the kids can have a place to stay. How about that? Hey, market, slow down. I'm trying to get out of this contract. Shit, y'all trying to take all the profit away, y'all dirty rascals. Shit. It's all good. I still got out on top. How about that? Frost still got out on top. How about, oh dang, PL. Oh, I don't know why I keep listening to people. That's why you gotta do your own research.
We can only do that if
You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody be with you while you shooting in the gym. This is your money. You better do your own research. You better not listen to nobody. Don't even know what they're talking about. Won't even give you $1 out of that money. Motherfuckers talking crazy all day and shit on you. And you just trying to help your people. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, send me an invite to the record, casual. Me and you come.
These organizations that have invested in this data and access
Man, like, I have to slap that Cohebert cat that's in here. If I slap him, I don't even know where that is. Hey, send me an invite.
There's a lot of misconceptions that come up, so I'd love your perspective on what you think the biggest misconception about enterprise AI is that you think will be proven wrong in the next, say, 1 to 2 years.
But that's y'all man's though.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and so I think on the one hand, AI's vastly being
You know how many times he came in my phone, bro, and he'll be like, why them dudes don't like you? I said, bro, I know them longer than you. You gotta quit gaslighting everything and trying to start everything. Y'all forever. You be nice casual.
I mean, AI projects are still IT projects.
No, you didn't. Or if you did, you did. If you did, I mean, look, right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you did, you did. But I feel like I know you before I know him. So I'll be like, bro, man, be nice, Joe, casual, forever. I've been knowing these guys forever. I just now, people just, to me, well, let me see. It's 2026, 25, 24, 25, 23. Well, shit, I don't know who. He wasn't who. I ain't never seen him who until now. Maybe that's what it was. I was hooping with him with that. I know a lot of people that I was hooping with. I got people all over the, you know what I mean?
I'll go 3 years into the future.
That's what it is. I ain't trying to be disrespectful. I don't know who he is. He a new cat to me.
Philip, we appreciate you taking the time to highlight AI and its movement in the enterprise AI space through 2026 and your predictions there as well. That's Philip Humphrey, the Chief AI Officer at NICE. Thanks again for being with us. Coming up next, we have the Disruptors. We'll be taking a look at Palo Alto Networks after it was upgraded. We'll have the news and
right
example
before
set
the
next.
Xbox Series X came out. Matter of fact, I might have known him a little bit before that, earlier than that, a couple years before that. Because Kajo will tell you, he got his shit later. And I got, because I was trying to hold on to my Xbox too. I got mine a little bit later too. But Kajo got his after me. I had to buy 2 Xboxes and shit. For $1,000. And people gonna tell me I didn't pay $1,000 for mine. Yeah, I did. Shit. It's my fault, y'all don't got no money. Y'all trying to get discounts, looking for discounts. I saw Bitcoin and all that shit early when my mama and everybody tried to rob Nate. You know, this girl who I thought was a baddie, she wasn't really no baddie like her. Like, come on now. You know, be responsible. That's, you know, that's what kids' lives, that's what my life. I didn't do nothing to none of these people. Now they gonna tell me how to beat up for my kids while they got all the money. You bring them down here, then. rascals. I don't like how they do this, yo. That's why they get the bipolar me or some shit. They be trying to do me away, and then I can't even respond. Or they'll try to control how I speak. They try, you know what I mean, all kind of stuff. Oh, he's mentally ill now. Like what? My therapist said I was alright. How about that? I'm gonna see my therapist forever, and going to the doctor every year, and doing what I gotta do as a man, though. And none of these people be doing that, though. And you just got people just telling you what you need to do while they don't do it. That's why I be saying that. You know, if I could have got a job, if I could get a job, and do that, not do that, I would. You know, I can't. It's just the way that I'd rather do this and have fun. As long as I can just help people, or help myself, or help my kids. I mean, what are we really doing out here? You know what? That's all about. I want to see everybody win. I don't want to spur a sack, but I want to, you know, you overcame, everybody eating, everybody good. That's right. I want to see, you know what I mean? Smiling faces. Yeah, that's what I like. That'd be bad at me.
Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Carly King.
You know what I'm saying? I get over 6 to 15.
It's time now for the Disruptors
And win. I'm trying to win.
Javier, senior equities contributor, to talk about Palo Alto Networks that upgraded at Guggenheim. You know, Alex, walk us through this note and if there's any other analyst action here.
Yeah, well, first off, I guess we should address this acquisition talk from CTEC. The details are limited, but CTEC's reporting that Palo Alto
I gotta call my cousin. I gotta call back the pantry and my cousin.
Upstart Koi for $400 million. That's basically the extent of the details at this point. Most recently,
I want to pay some damn chess too.
Hadn't commented just yet, so maybe that information will roll in. But
I'm tired of people making me lose. Chess, you make your own self lose.
Friday, so this is going back before the weekend. They upgraded Palo Alto Networks to neutral from sell, not providing a price target. Now, the headline will say upgrade. I would say this is an analyst getting less bearish, because if you read the commentary within the research note, they talk about how the stock has significantly underperformed the major averages, and as a result, that makes it a little bit more difficult to make money in their mind at this time being short the stock. So they basically say they think Palo Alto Networks should benefit from the narrative as the largest pure-play vendor in the security space, and that
Alright, y'all. We at the tippity top of the market, y'all, so look for a vicious rejection.
Now, you mentioned there was another analyst commentary I saw from Piper Sandler. This isn't a change in rating, but rather a change in price target. And they adjusted their price target from 230 to 265. They have an overweight rating on the shares.
See these?
They acknowledge that 2025 wasn't the best year for cybersecurity stocks, but they feel optimistic, cautiously optimistic, I should say, that better years in store for 2026. So, looking at these is just more interesting valuation given that underperformance.
Yeah, and interesting, this coin announcement, we are seeing a move almost to 3% to the upside with these notes and this potential announcement of another investment. Yeah. But they've been on a major spending spree. They had their CyberArk announcement in July.
My landlord she's being weird a little bit. And she's talking about police report, this and that. And I was going to tell her, because when I had my police report, that the neighbors talking about whatever they were saying, and I was telling him, they the one calling my mama and stuff. And my landlord, they got back to my landlord, and I was just like, bro, what? You could at least be a witness, can't you? Because they called you with that stuff. I'll be over in the house. I don't be messing with talking to nobody. I'll be streaming every day, all through the hours streaming. I don't even know what they be talking about. And they messing with me, your son. You know what I'm talking about? They messing with me. Why you bring me into this world for them to mess with me? I don't know what my landlord was trying to tell me, but I told her I ain't had nothing to do with it. No. How you doing this morning, though? That's how you doing this morning?
Well, you can call her and tell her that you want to hear phone, and I
reward, the width of the strikes will create roughly a 2-to-1 risk reward, and that's what
I mean, it ain't no thing now. I just have to get them in the over there in my pantry stuff. Get them to connect each other because one person ain't receiving the other information. That's the important thing. What they talking about don't got nothing to do with me. That's not even nothing to address. What the address is nothing. I'm just checking on you. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, we're seeing it right now. They're up close to 3% again, trading at 184.63.
I wouldn't even know that though.
Disruptors today.
Hey, look, they ain't even talking to me about anything. I ain't in no trouble. Then they lied about whatever they saying. And whatever you just said, this is now new news. Because what that happened last month? I don't know what they talking about. I'm trying to get my rent paid.
He's trying to say that you...
That isn't even important, though. You don't have girls be... Yeah, I know. You don't have girls be something either.
Trading at Schwab is powered by Ameritrade, unlocking the power of think or swim. The award-winning trading platforms. Bring your trades into focus on Think or Swim desktop with robust charting and analysis tools, including over 400 technical studies. Tailor the platforms to your unique needs with nearly endless customization. And track market trends with up-to-the-minute news and insights. Trade brilliantly with Schwab.
I'm Alex Coffey.
And I'm Jenny Horn. This is Next Gen Investing, where we track the trends shaping tomorrow's market.
From tech to energy, crypto to consumer, we focus on what's driving investor sentiment right now.
Clear analysis and forward-looking market coverage every trading day.
This is a make-or-break level for this stock. And that could certainly be a short to near
Next Gen Investing, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Only on Schwab Network. Hey, Dad. I have a question for you.
Sure.
When did Granddad first start investing?
Granddad had an account with Schwab before there were branches in the area. We really started with nothing. He worked hard, and after he passed away, the torch has been passed to me, and my advisor, Jennifer, she was with me with the journey, helping with the estate